Welcome, McGill Health Professional Learners. My name is Lara Heimann. I'm a physical therapist and creator of the LIT Yoga Method. And I've created this class just for you. It's called Mindful Movement. What I would like you to experience in this is what movement can do for you when your mind is exploding, you have anxiety and stress. That movement actually, when being mindful in it, paying attention moment to moment in the movement, automatically transfers to calming your nervous system and clearing that anxiety out. So you don't have to sit and try and clear it or think about clearing it. If you just move and pay attention to the movement, that does the job for you. So let's come onto your back. I start off my classes to reset the pelvis so that movement, because it is the grand central station of energy exchange. So movement is being generated and it goes through the bowl of the pelvis. So we want it to be neutral. Lift your tailbone up a little bit and then lift your glutes. We want to turn on the glutes and not use the low back. That can be a strategy. And if you feel any compression in the knees, walk your feet away. So having your hips just a little bit lifted is better than getting way up here. So stay low and put your hands on the two pelvic points and draw them together. They're not going to move, but you'll get this feeling of consolidation. So when we are getting into movement patterns, come back to this idea of this almost like belt-like feeling, the area between the two pelvic bones. Hold that like that, and we'll bring the hands up in the air and spread your fingers. So we often neglect the things that we use all the time sometimes. And so what we need to do is pay attention. Stretch out the wrist. So grab your right fingers with your left hand and pull. As you're doing that, you can let that right thumb go out to the side. And as you're doing this with your hand, start to lift and lower your heels. So waking up your feet, pushing into the big toe mound, the metatarsal on each of your feet. Press into that. Put your mind into that action as you lift and lower. And then stretch out your other hand. The right hand grabs your left fingers. The left thumb can open up a little bit as well. Keep the glutes working. You're working the entire back of the body, but the entire back of the leg, the hamstrings and the calves and the feet. And then lower the heels. And then slowly lower so that your rib cage comes onto the floor, but the pelvis is off. So the low back, the sacrum's off, and its connection to the pelvis is off. So you just have a little space in there. Firm the front, this area again of the belt of the two ASIS bones, and then lower the sacrum. Hold that feeling of that suctioning in this area together as we transition into some abdominal core. So hands behind your head, cup your skull, the elbows are in. Keep the feet on the floor. Big inhale, exhale, come up off the shoulders. So we'll get off the shoulders, lean your skull back so you're not jutting your chin. That jutting of the chin is a very anxiety-producing position. So get the neck neutral and get the core engaged. Inhale and lower. Exhale, come up off the shoulders. Take your right hand and grab your outer left rib cage. Pull the ribs in toward midline to get you off the left shoulder more. Again, watch the neck that you're not jutting your chin. Hand comes behind your head. Inhale and lower. Exhale, lift up off the shoulders. The left hand grabs the outer right ribs and pulls in to get you off the shoulder blade more. Hand behind the head. Inhale and lower. We're going to change this. Exhale, lift. So imagine my hand was still on the outer left rib cage, but extend your left leg. The knees stay in the same line, so this leg isn't going higher or lower. And then harness the side rib. Put the left foot down, inhale and lower. Exhale and lift. The right leg straightens, flex the right foot, the knees are in the same line. Imagine that you're still holding the rib with the left hand. Put the foot down, inhale and lower. So just putting that imagery in there helps. Exhale and lift up. The left leg straightens again, but now we're going to twist a little bit to the left and actually take your right hand on the outer left ribs and pull you up there. So you're getting off that left shoulder blade more in that little bit of a rotation. Come back to center, left foot comes down. Inhale, lower. Exhale, lift up off the shoulders. The right knee extends. Turn a little bit to the right. The left hand grabs the outer right ribs. Pull up off the shoulder blade more by pulling the ribs in. Come back to center, put the foot down, inhale and lower. Let's come around on all fours. Take that energy of the core to help stabilize your pelvis. Shoulders are on top of the wrists, spread the fingers, lift the front of the throat up. Take your left hand and bring it on the sacrum, the lowest part of the back. And then we'll lift your right leg up off the floor with the right knee bent. Imagine again you have that belt that's tight between the two pelvic points of the front body. And then we'll lift and lower the right hip, slide them out. So it's like a pulse with the glute, but this lights up all the core. We have the right shoulder girdle working, the front ribs are being stabilized, and that belt of the front body's holding as the right glute pulses. If it feels too much, you can always put the left hand down, but stabilize here, little pulses, and then put the right knee down, left hand under the left shoulder. Right hand comes on the sacrum. So all these kind of directional things, putting them in the mind really helps you tune in. And then left leg lifts, the knee is bent, and tiny pulses here. Watch any tendency to push that elbow forward or sink into the ribs. Hold the ribs in. So being mindful of everything that's happening, not letting anything just go. That creates a fuzziness when we just kind of don't pay attention to all the details. One more, and then we'll bring the knee down. Then bring your forearms on the floor. The wrists make a 90-degree angle with the elbow and the shoulder, unless you need to interlace the fingers, but the elbows still come in a narrow way. We're coming into dolphin pose. Relax the neck and then lift up. So dolphin is like a down dog. It's an inversion, and inversions are so great for the busy mind, for the uptightness, the anxiety, all of it. It really clears stuff. It's like a clarifying tonic because everything in the body gets lit up. And we move that energy around, and we can turn our stress into something that actually powers us, that doesn't, make us powerless, but really empowers us. So lifting the front ribs, keeping the neck released, bring the left leg up about hip height, hold there. And then we're going to take small circles. So circle the leg, it's straight, but small. And put your mind in the left upper thigh bone. Stir it like it's the stirring spoon of the pot. And then circle the other way. So it's like you're stirring a spoon, but you're holding the spoon. Where you're holding the spoon is what is directing the movement. Step that left foot down. The right leg lifts, the leg stays straight, and then circle. So it's a lot happening here. Keep the belt of the front pelvic bowl pulled together, and then circle the other way. So smaller circles is better. It's much more mindful. Moment to moment paying attention. This is challenging, I know, and breathe more. So you greet any challenge with more breath and more core, and you're much better. Lower the knees. It's a good metaphor for all the work that needs to be done. Come all the way up to the front of the mat and just pause here for a second. Put your hand on your sacrum and one hand across this area of the 2AS, where the belt is, and then sandwich that together. So in our mindful movement, hold that together a lot. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Hold that together as you fold forward. Step your right foot back, lower the right knee and the top of the foot. So we're forming a 90-degree angle. Sandwich this together and the arms can come up, or you can always hold it together. Hands come to the floor, step into plank and pause. Feel in your plank. Don't just go to the next movement, but stay present here. Then lower the knees. Hold the plank position as you lower by bending the elbows so you don't dive your shoulders, but hold your plank all the way down. Pull back with your hands for Cobra. Draw those two pelvic points together And then exhale, lift up through your knees into down dog, bringing the feet a little bit closer. The right foot steps forward, lower the left knee and the top of the foot, and you can sandwich front and back, and then reach the arms up. Hands come to the floor in front of your feet, step your back foot in. Come all the way up to stand, inhale. So the breath matters as well. Exhale, hinge, keep the spine long. The left foot steps back, lower the left knee, but not the toes this time, and sandwich again. Left hand in front, right hand on the sacrum. Pull them together, draw the belt together in front. Hands come to the floor, step into plank, pause, hold. On retention, so you're not breathing in or out, but just holding and feeling everything energized, everything stabilizing. Then we exhale, lower the knees, lower slowly with that plank in mind. Pull back for inhale, Cobra. Not about height, but lift in the low belly. Exhale, lift into your down dog from your knees, and then lift the feet, walk the feet in a little bit. Left foot steps forward, lower the right knee, but not the toes. The right hand is in front, the left hand is back. Sandwich them together. Feel the right glute firm. Head is back in space. Remember, the chin out is a stress position. Pull it back. Not double chinning, but this whole skull moves back. The hands move forward, slide the back foot in. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hinge at the hips. Step your right foot back. We'll start the same way. Lower the right knee, but not the toes, and then come up here. Sandwich, right hand in front, left hand in back. We're going to pick up this left foot and step it over to the left, so opening it up at a 90 degree, like this. Okay, so it opens up. Put your left forearm on the left thigh, belt this area together, and then reach the right arm over. A lot going on here, but we're opening up some areas that hold tension and anxiety. Through movement, we can clear it. Keep the right glute working. Big breath there. Lift up so the right arm reaches up. Bring your right hand to the floor. Step the left foot forward, back to where it was, but then turn so you're in a side lunge with the left knee bent and the right leg straight. So that was like a transition we have to kind of pay attention to. Big breath here. We're going to turn to the back of your mat for a lunge on your fingers. Spine stays long. Come back to that side lunge with the left knee bent. Everything's in place. That belt is in place at the pelvic area. Turn back to the back of the mat for a lunge with the right knee bent. You're on your fingertips. Belly's in. So we're not rounding and we're not tipping the tailbone. One more time. Side lunge. The left knee is bent. The right leg is straight. And if that feels like too much on your knee, you can try the toes up. Big breath in there. The knee isn't going forward. You're going back. Good. And then take it to the back. Left hand is down, and the right arm will come up for a twisted crescent. Big breath in here. So you're keeping up on your left toes. Remember the feeling of pushing into the big metatarsal. Push into the left foot, big metatarsal there. Huge breath, and then both hands come down. We'll step into plank here. Hold your plank. Buckle up in front. Neck is in line, not letting the head drop. Lower your knees. Lower slowly to the floor. Pull back for Cobra. And we'll lift through your knees. Come back into down dog, and then walk your hands back to your feet, bending your knees. This is called happy squat. So you're flexing in your hip, your knee, and your ankle. Belly comes on the thighs. Head can release here. Breathe here. Big breath. Imagine ballooning the breath into your back fascia. Open your mouth. Exhale. One more like that. Big inhale. And exhale. Walk your hands to the left. You'll be turning, pivoting on your toes until you come back to the front and your ankle, left ankle's crossed over your right. Come onto your fingertops and shimmy your ribs a little bit, freeing up some of that stuff. So there's a lot of, from sitting or standing in one position, a lot of congestion around the top rim of the pelvis. And then uncross the feet, come all the way up, the knees bend, and come up to stand, reach the arms up. Other side, hinge, fold forward, mindfully placing the hands down, left foot step back, left knee lowers, and bringing your left hand behind, your right hand in front, sandwich. And then we're just picking up the right foot and opening it, but keeping that pelvis not rotating with it, holding here. Right forearm to the right thigh, left arm comes over, and then push that left hip forward. Draw the belly in and let the right ear release. Huge inhale. Should feel really lovely. Keep the left glute on and that belt of the pelvic area together. We'll lift up again. The left arm stays up. As you lower the left hand down, you step the right foot and turn facing that direction, that side lunge. The right knee is bent. Come to the back of the mat, fingertip lunge. Feet are parallel in 2 tracks and the spine is long. Pause and pay attention to your alignment here. So even if you need to come up higher, if you have really rounded or a lot of tight congestion there. Move side lunge, feet parallel, sit back. Come back to the back for the fingertip lunge. Keeping the spine long. So can we move with this pelvis neutral and the spine long? Moving in the hips, side lunge, sit back into that right hip. And last time, as you turn to the back, you'll lower the right hand and turn through the rib cage. The left arm floats up for twisted crescent. Check in with the right shoulder. Don't let it droop in. Pay attention. Lean back into it. Be on the right big toe and push into the metatarsal on that side, that big toe mound. Both hands come down. Step into plank. Rigid core. Don't overly lift in the spine. Keep the scapula slightly drawing together if you tend to round. Like feel the scapula stay on the back ribs. Lower your knees. Lower slowly. So this is careful, careful, careful. We lower. We don't just rush it. Cobra, pull back. And lift through the knees into your down dog, lifting the bowl of the pelvis. Walk your hands back to your feet for your happy squat. Sit down into it. So we're teaching ourselves how to flex in the hips in a different way so that we're using the brain differently. And this really changes when we're doing something automatic that isn't necessarily great, maybe compensatory. We have to move in a different way to complete that same action. So hip flexion. If I just told you to squat, it might look different than this. Now turn to the right, lifting the heels up so you can pivot around. Right ankle crosses over left. Come on your fingertips. The knees can be super bent, but we're shimming the ribs, freeing that up, freeing up that fascia. And then uncross. So the feet are now not crossed anymore, and we stand and rise all the way up. Inhale. Exhale, hinge at the hips. So plant the hands in front of your feet. Don't move the shoulders, but walk back into plank. So plank is kind of our cue to check in, be rigid, glutes. You can lower with the knees down, or you can try lowering in one piece all the way to the floor. Lift your arms and your legs in locust, working the glutes, and keeping that waist, that belt between your ASISs tight. Hands to the floor, lift up through plank and down dog. You can also do that on your knees. Walk the feet in a little bit here. Big breath in. And exhale out. So we're going to lift your left leg up for three-legged down dog. And remember what we did in dolphin. We're going to circle the hip with the legs straight, but now you have to really be responsible for the elbows not bending. We have a longer lever arm. Circle the other way. Remember, we're stirring from within, so keep the mind right into that. It's like a metronome that you're focusing on. Last time, three-legged down dog, and then step the left foot forward. Open up into a warrior two. Drop the right heel. The left knee is bent. The ASIS is pulled together and the arms reach. Circle your arms back. So you're circling, similar to the stirring of the hips, circling back. And that circling is taking place in the shoulder and reflected all the way down. It should feel like quick energy in the shoulders. Circling, circling, holding the belly in. Who would think? Little circles. Breathe out. Use this as an opportunity to get a little heat and then get some release. So open, stay in your lunge here, stay in this warrior two, but circle. Inhale, exhale out. If you open up and really stick out your tongue, it helps even more. Inhale. Really free up. And then hold still and feel. Feel that energy that you created. Now move with that. Exhale, reverse. Opening up, the head moves the same direction. Don't look up at the ceiling. Right ear to the right shoulder. Inhale, and then exhale. Left forearm on the left thigh, warrior variation. One more time. Inhale, exhale, reverse. And then we'll windmill down to the floor. Plant the hands. Step your left foot for a down dog, but then turn your knees to the left and bend the knees. So you're twisting a little bit in your down dog, and then we're just going to do that to the other side. So we're turning the pelvis, still holding that belt of the pelvis between the ASAS together, but just turning, and this just kind of eases some fascia tightness around the pelvis. Hold the belly in. Don't let the armpit sag. That's not impressive. Don't do that. Hold the ribs in. Paying attention. 2 more. And then coming back into down dog and pausing there. Come forward into plank. Lower the knees or lower in one piece to the floor. Locust pose. Arms and legs lift. Outer thighs roll down just to spread the back, and the 2 pelvic points pull together. Hands to the floor and lift into down dog. Slide the left foot in a little bit. The right leg lifts. And we'll circle the right leg. Circling, holding strong in that left. The left elbow in particular loves to bend. Pay attention, be mindful. Hold the pelvis steady as you move the leg and then circle the other way. Stirring from the hip. Smaller is better to get that control. And then last one, we'll step the right foot forward and open into warrior two. The right knee is bent. Warrior two, the right heel lines up somewhere with the back left foot. But really pay attention to the pelvis. Arms reach out and circle here. Small circles back, holding the belly in strongly, not sitting into that pelvis, but really drawing the sit bones toward each other so that the pelvic floor is helping the engagement there. And then be still with it and feel the cuffing around the shoulder, the energy there. Exhale and reverse. Inhale. Exhale, warrior variation, right forearm on the right thigh, left arm over. And then inhale, one more time. Exhale, reverse, left hand on the left thigh, right arm over. Lift and windmill, hands come down. Step your right foot back for your down dog and turn your knees to the right and bend them. So you're rotating around on the toes as well. Turn to the left. But holding your front ribs in, so all the stuff we did with our abdominals, holding those sides ribs into the center, as if you could corset them. Side to side here. One more time. And then coming in through down dog and step your feet to the front. And we're going to put these 2 sequences together and create like this beautiful organic movement that we're in moment to moment. Not spacing out, but tuning in. Here it is. Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, hinge at the hips. The right foot steps back, lower the right knee, but not the toes. So we're in this low lunge, left hand in front, right hand in back. The right glute is firm. Step the left foot out and open up the hip. Left forearm on the left thigh, right arm reaches over. Push this right hip point forward, but draw the 2 ASISs together at the same time. Really opening up some good stuff that needs to be spacious. Lift that right arm back up. We'll put the right hand down as we turn sideways on the mat for a side lunge. And we come to the back, fingertip lunge, but we're going to add a knee tap here. Lift the left knee up, turn side lunge, the left knee bends, sitting back into the hip, coming to the back of the mat, spine stays long, tapping the knee, not sinking in the pelvis. Come back around. So super mindful. Side lunge to the left. Coming around to the back. Tapping the knee. We lift it. Last one, side lunge. Sit back into the left hip. Spine stays long. Opening this inner thigh. Coming around to the back for that twisted crescent. The left hand lands. Lean back into it. The right arm comes up. Huge breath here. Keep lifting up on that left glute, not letting the pelvis sink. Draw the belt of the two ASISs together. Left glute is on. Right hand comes down. Plank position. Pause here. Feel your plank super strong. Lower the knees. Lower about halfway and then straighten the elbows and lift the knees. So we're doing that 3 more times. Lower the knees. Lower about halfway. Moment to moment, stay with it. Straighten the elbows and then lift the knees. Lower the knees. Full engagement. Bend the elbows about halfway. Straighten the elbows. Lift the knees. And then walk your hands back to your feet for that happy squat. Sitting here. You can always feed your fingers in the hip creases to open up more. Feel that back fascia open. Breathe. Big inhale, let it out through the mouth. Let this movement give you an opportunity to let go of anything that's holding you, binding you, stressing you out. Let it go. Turn to your left for that cross-ankled forward fold in the front. And fingertips are on the floor. Shimmy your ribs. That should feel really lovely. And then we're going to load the left foot more and lift the right leg up behind you like you did on all fours. But you can bring the hands on the floor or the fingers can be on the floor. The knee can be bent, but you don't want the knee going forward. We're really maintaining that level pelvis. So this is a standing L feeling. Huge breath in here and exhale. We'll lower the right leg. Lift ourselves up into a crescent lunge for a moment. Arms lift. Bring the hands behind your head and open up your elbows for a moment here. Just opening up, keeping the skull in line, not letting the chin drop. And then we'll bring the hands down to the floor, right into our 3-legged down dog, or as an option, you can lower your forearms down. Circle with the legs straight, either in down dog or with the dolphin. We've done them both. But putting, again, your mind right into the hip and then circle the other way. Press into the floor. Step your left foot into half moon. The left foot lands, left fingers on the floor. We open up the right hip into external rotation as you draw the 2 front pelvic points together. This knee can be super bent. You also can be, left hand can be on the thigh if it's too far down for the ground or if you don't have a block. What's most important is this pelvis, not letting it round or arch. And then we lower the right foot, warrior 2. Neutral pelvis here, reverse your warrior, exhale, left arm over the ear. Inhale, exhale, right arm over. Let it feel like a nice dance, but you're in it moment to moment. Inhale, exhale, reverse. And then we'll windmill to the floor, hands to the floor, right into that down dog, twisting the knees to the left. And then forward. More into plank and to the right. So having more of a crouch, but in the crouch, staying lifted in the front body. And then the last time, plank, and we'll lower all the way to the floor. Locust pose, arms and legs lift, but keep the belly lifted so you're not compressing the back. And then the hands come down. Lift into down dog. We're going to go right to the other side by stepping your right foot forward, lowering the left knee, but not the toes. Left hand in front, right hand in back. Compress, neck is long, and then step the right foot out to the right. Right forearm on the right thigh, left arm comes over the ear. Press your left hip forward as you draw the 2 pelvic points together. Open up and balloon the breath into the left side body. Let the stress out of your face. Rise back up. The left hand will land as you start to turn toward the left. Lower that right foot for a side lunge. Right hip is flexing, right knee is flexing. Turn to the back. You're on your fingertips. and you can tap the right knee, but not sink the pelvis. Lift the right knee, turn for a side lunge. So moment to moment, thinking what you're doing, long in the spine, turn to the back on the fingertips, tap the right knee, lift it, turn, side lunge. And turn to the back, tap the knee, lift. If you're ever having trouble getting the hands down, you can stay up higher with your hands on your pelvis. And back to the back. Lower the knee, lift into your twisted crescent. Right hand is down, left arm will come up. Keep that press into the big right toe. You can look at your foot. If it tends to roll into the pinky, you're turning in the pelvis. And then both hands come down, plank position. Here we go, just a few of these. Tap the knee or lower the knee, bend the elbows a third of the way about, and then straighten the elbows and lift the knees up. Lower the knees, keep the pelvis level, bend the elbows, straighten the elbows, lift. Hold moment to moment, knee, lower, exhale, straighten the elbows, lift the knees, walk your hands back to your feet, bend the knees immediately, drop the heels, sit into your hips. Breathe into your back fascia and exhale out through the mouth. One more inhale. Exhale. Rotate to the right, lift your heels all the way back to the front, cross ankle, shimmy your ribs on the fingers. Really just free that up. And then we'll put more weight in the right foot as you lift your left leg behind you. The right knee can bend. You can come up on your fingers. You can have your hands on the floor, but you're in a standing L type shape. Feel it. So feel this and let that be the mindfulness that you're bringing in. Lower the left foot. You'll come into that crescent lunge. Tailbone comes down. Your feet are on two separate lines. The hands come behind your head and you move your skull back. Remember the feeling of drawing the ribs in when we did our abdominals. Hold that there. And then we'll bring the hands down, three-legged down dog or in dolphin. You drop the forearms down. Either one is fine, and you'll circle one way with the legs straight, keeping the pelvis steady, and then circle the other way. Step your right foot forward, half moon, the right foot lands, the right fingers can go forward on the floor. And you turn the pelvis a little bit, and then keep the belt of the pelvis together, flexing the left foot. Your right hand can also come all the way up on your shin or your thigh if you need that. What's more important is the spine staying long. It's a lot for the hips, it's good for them. And then lower your left foot, warrior two, big inhale. Exhale in reverse, left hand to the left thigh, right arm over. Inhale. Exhale, warrior variation, left arm over. Hold your stuff together here. Inhale, you're moving through it, in it, and then releasing what you don't need. Reverse, and then windmill down. Exhale, down dog. Knees to the right as you bend them, and turn slightly. Come forward into plank more this time, and then turn to the left. Keeping the front ribs lifted, not sinking. Last time, come forward into plank. Lower all the way. And make a little pillow for your head with your hands down, forehead down. Bend the knees and then just windshield wipe them. And just think, it's like you're letting go of stuff. You organize your body with the movement, with the mindfulness, with the paying attention. And then in that organization, you give your brain a chance to understand what is important at that moment. Because anxiety and stress and all that is really coming from flooded stuff, flooded thoughts, emotions, overwhelming, overly saturated. And so this brings us into a clear, it's like turning on the channel that had been staticky and all of a sudden it's clear. Let's turn onto your back. So laying on your back, bring one knee down at a time. If that feels like you are pitching your pelvis or letting your chin jut, then you can also have your feet flat. That's fine. Sometimes actually having them flat with the feet wide and letting the knees drop in and touch each other is really helpful. And then the arms are out to the side. So we're coming into Shavasana, which is the state of absorption. It's the completion of a practice. So it also gives us this final sense. It's like the punctuation, you know, the bookend, the organization our brain really craves, so that it doesn't feel so like we have so much junk mail. It's like junk mail is up there and you just like deleted that. And now you can really feel your mind is clearer, your body is more energized and integrated. So take a few moments to absorb this. Stay here for as long as you need to. If you want to stay longer, please do. If you're ready to move out of this, just open your mouth first and get a real clearing exhale. Inhale, reach the arms over your head. And stretch your arms and legs apart if your legs are on the ground. Exhale it out. One more breath in like that. Big inhale. And exhale. And then draw one knee in at a time with your eyes closed into your belly. Either roll to your side or rock up with your eyes closed. Just come to a seated position so you can leave this as this final muscle memory and brain mapping, this place of space in your mind, mindfulness, which basically is greater awareness and awakening, which we can fully manifest when we feel clearer and when we move clearer. I hope this brought you some calmness, some clarity in your mind so that you can go into your day and feel more open, more space, less worry, more joy. Thank you so much. Namaste.